Good afternoon or good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's presentation entitled Introducing Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP. Today's presentation is brought to you by Ledgerable, a BTRL company, where we're in our 35th year of upgrading small and mid-sized general and specialty contractors from QuickBooks or a legacy on-premises construction management application to Sage Intacct Construction, the only construction accounting application ever named by the AICPA as their preferred provider of financial construction applications. I'm Brian Terrell, managing partner of Ledgerable, once again a B Terrell company, and today I'm joined by Cassie Nadelko. Cassie is Ledgerable's dedicated ADP representative for Sage Intacct Payroll, powered by ADP. And before I turn the microphone over to Cassie for today's presentation, let's cover a few housekeeping items. If you're here for continuing professional education, today's webinar qualifies for one CPE credit. All we ask is that you respond to our polling questions that will appear on your screen periodically throughout the webinar, and we ask that you complete our post-webinar evaluation form. Once again, all we ask is that you respond to the polling questions and complete our post-webinar evaluation form. And to get warmed up on what those polling questions look like, here's an example question that will appear on your screen now. This is an important question because it helps us recognize those in today's audience who will be looking forward to that CPE certificate. After completing all of those questions or answering all these questions and completing that evaluation form, we'll be able to get that to you. Now, while you complete this question, one final housekeeping item: we've disabled the audio and video for participants in today's webinar. It doesn't mean that we're not welcoming your questions, and you can use the Zoom toolbar's Q&A button in order to forward those questions to us, and we'll get those answered at the end of today's presentation. We are also recording the presentation, and we'll send you a link to that recording in the next couple of hours or maybe by tomorrow, and you can use that to go back and review items or information that you'd like additional information on, or you may forward that link to colleagues or peers that were unable to join us today. So without any further delay, it's my privilege to turn today's presentation over to Cassie. Cassie?
Thank you so much, Brian. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm really looking forward to introducing Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP. I really appreciate the warm welcome from Brian, and I absolutely love working with the entire B2RL team. I support everything and anything when it comes to payroll and HR and integrations within the ERP space for their customers and prospects. So today, we're going to go over what is Sage Intacct Payroll, specifically hitting on some of the technical specifics with the features and integrations, going over our construction capabilities, also explaining the overall value within the software and the features. I'll show you a brief demo, and then we'll wrap up with some questions. Next, we have our second poll question here, and there's really no right or wrong answer. We really just want to get a pulse for where you're currently at with your payroll and financial systems, and potentially what challenges you may have faced as a result. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to answer this poll question. And, maybe you don't necessarily manage the payroll and financials. So just, give us a good idea on where you are at today. While you are answering that question, I'd like to go ahead and just introduce Sage Intacct Payroll and kind of discuss, what's in it for you and what you are hoping to get out of this call today. As you know, clients are really managing a lot of systems in today's world. And in fact, on average, companies have over 32 different systems in place that handle their HR needs. 60% of those HR solutions are not integrated, causing many organizations to spend so much time and effort on manual tasks and less time focused on generating revenue and growing their business. So today we're going to focus on how we can actually marry the two most important aspects within your business. Payroll in your workforce is typically the number one line item for any businesses and their expenses. And so it's very important that you're partnering with the right organization that can help you maximize efficiencies, simplify day-to-day operations, and also give you those invaluable insights, all with a seamlessly integrated system and also dedicated customer support. So that's kind of an overview of what we're hoping to explain throughout today's conversation. Now let's talk a little bit about Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP. What is it and how it came about? Well, this is a partnership that was developed about 4 years ago, and that was because Sage itself was getting so much feedback from their customers that they needed a native payroll solution, something that would actually be integrated and work to support their customers. Instead of reinventing the wheel, Sage itself actually released an RFP across 12 different vendors, and ADP was selected as the vendor of choice due to our integrations, our product, our billing, and also our dedicated specialized teams for implementation and support. Now, this is an exclusive solution from ADP that you can only get through Ledgerable, a B2L company. It cannot be purchased from ADP directly, and that is because it is that exclusive product that is designed to be integrated with Sage Intacct. It also eliminates the extra third-party billing by having it seamlessly connected through your Sage Intacct subscription. It includes the integration, and again, you have those specialized teams for all of the additional support. Now, let me give you an overview about the Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP and also how it ties in with the construction space. It is so much more than just payroll in today's world that is necessary to be able to manage your operations from hire to retire. That's why ADP broke out all of our individual product sets into what we call modules. And these modules can be completely customized to build your custom bundle to include all of these features or maybe just a select few. This is how we can really make sure that we're not only meeting your goals and initiatives and your business needs, but also meeting your budget. We want to make sure that you're getting the most amount of ROI within your platform and not overpaying for something that you don't use. So as you can see, we have a variety of different modules from hire to retire for you to be able to manage your operations, whether that is just simply payroll and tax filings. Maybe you need your certified payroll reports taken care of, and some additional HR features with onboarding. But you do have further options for a learning management system, time tracking, enhanced data and analytics. All of these are included in our seamlessly unified and connected platform. So there's no glitches in between siloed systems. It is truly developed from the ground up so that everything is seamless for your day-to-day operations and for your employees. Since ADP values each unique organization, and we understand that not all organizations need the same service from ADP. And that's why we have a variety of different models here that you can really choose what's best for your organization. Our typical software as a service model is what you would see with a lot of the providers out there in the market. That is the traditional payroll model where we would actually pay all of your employees, process the payroll, and file your taxes. But sometimes we hear that organizations really want to keep the tax filing in-house. We do have an option to simply process your payroll, but you still file your taxes on your own behalf and manage that in-house. On the flip side, if you were interested in a more outsourced model, maybe you don't have a very large HR team and you have a lot of different states and compliance things to manage and workers' comp. If you were looking for something more outsourced, we definitely have options for a hybrid software plus dedicated people support team that really helps shift risk and liability onto ADP and off of yourself, like a PEO model, if you've ever heard of that. Next up, we have our third poll question here. And again, the whole goal here is really to just get a pulse on what you're currently using today and how you're using the system. So what is your biggest pain point when it comes to the payroll and ERP HR space? Maybe it's, duplicate processes that are extremely manual. Time and attendance needs can always get tricky, especially if you have shift differentials and, other types of project-based changes. And again, no right or wrong answer here, just really hoping to get an idea of where you're at and if it can be improved to the entire employee life cycle from today. Thank you so much, everyone. And moving on here to talk a little bit about this specific integration and, of course, why you're all here today. Sage Intacct Payroll and ADP are a seamlessly integrated system. We have this 5 data point API connection between ADP's payroll platform and Sage Intacct for your financials. Now, the way that the integration works is ADP is your prime for your employee data and your post-payroll general ledger information. That means that when you actually hire an employee into ADP, we are your single source of truth and the system of record. And that can actually initiate the API data flow of all of that employee data, the demographic information, their ID number, over directly into Sage Intacct. Of course, with data privacy and security restrictions, if you wanted to withhold any sensitive information. I'll show you more about this later on in our demo, but imagine being able to just have one system to manage all of your employee information and not have to have that duplicate process of entering the same info into 2 separate systems. A huge time saver. Now, on the flip side of the integration, Sage Intacct will act as your prime for all of your dimensions. And that's everything with your project field values, your tasks, your cost codes, all of those things that you manage and that you've worked with the B2RL team to set up and customize within your organization. We can map those to ADP's dimensions on our side to make sure that departments are transferring over the right way. Any type of unique identifiers that if an employee were to work in a specific project or a different role, that would not only be coded correctly for job costing, but also that it would be accurate for any pay differences. Maybe they get a % increase or a completely different rate or some sort of fringe benefits. Having those dimensions mapped up and synced with the code on the ADP side is imperative to streamline your backend operations and also really increase data visibility in real time. Now, time and attendance is where the integration can be really customized and configured to support your unique needs. You have the ability to choose whether you would like to track time and attendance in Sage Intacct. Maybe you're already doing that today even. Or if you wanted to introduce ADP's time system as the new system of record, and we can push that back over to Sage Intacct to give you that real-time visibility into hours worked, maybe for SOW purposes or invoicing and billing. All of those capabilities are able to be handled through this very nice seamless 360-degree integration between the 2 platforms. Of course, post-payroll, we will automatically generate your general ledger and the journal entries to map over to your chart of accounts, so you won't have to do any type of download of a CSV file, manual manipulation, copy and pasting, and then uploading it back in. Again, the goal is having compliant information quickly, accurately, and easily so that you can focus on managing the rest of your organization. Now let's talk a little bit about time and attendance, since that really is one of the key differentiators and something that really comes up a lot in our customer conversations. ADP has a variety of time collection options, and it really is essential to an organization to track time accurately and efficiently because it provides visibility into how resources are allocated, enabling better project planning, accountability, and data driven insights that can improve profitability and efficiency throughout the entire organization. We, an ADP system, have the ability to have all different tools and features like the manager dashboard or crew clocking, geofencing, offline punching, and additional services to make sure that our time system is easy for you to use and accurate to help your employees and managers stay on track throughout the day. And of course, this is so important, not only in the construction industry, but across all of the different industries as well. We have really invested heavily into customizing a solution that will be efficient and work effectively for any industry. And, historically, it's no secret that the construction industry was very difficult to be able to work with a third party payroll provider. Even 5 years ago, it was not something that was common. And that's why ADP invested over $1 million into developing our new construction specific software that's able to handle all of those unique complexities. Things like automating your certified payroll reports, union reporting, being able to identify the prevailing wage and fringes across the overall organization. It's so nice for us to be able to work directly with your Sage Intacct partner, Legible here, to be able to customize a solution and make sure the code matches on both sides so that you can automate all of these different processes and also make sure that they're accurate and compliant. We will have this construction dashboard I'll show you through the demo as well, that you can really manage all of the different integrations, have your wage tables built in there, your certified payroll reports. All of that is taken care of so that you can focus on other tasks throughout the organization. And feel free to continue to put questions in the chat if there's anything else that you guys are looking for. Now, just to highlight this as well, I did mention that you can use either system to track time and attendance, and Sage's construction management platform is really helpful and easy to use and would allow you to use those clock in, clock out features. Through the integration with ADP, we are able to initiate that API workflow to pull over the construction time capture punches and actually process that through ADP payroll. Depending on the level of insight and data that you'd like included in your platform, we can also project those different overtime rates and give you the robust reporting capabilities so that you have a full gross to net idea of your hours and all the different types of pay and overtime rates that might be associated with it. So just wanted to highlight that there is a lot of the unique capabilities and customization to configure a solution that works best for you. Now, of course, payroll is ADP's middle name, so would have to highlight a little bit of our payroll capabilities. At this point, it's table stakes to have an accurate and timely payroll. It's really vital to an organization to ensure that your employees are compensated correctly, compliantly, and accurately for all of your state-specific tax and labor laws. ADP is licensed in all 50 states, and we're actually considered a government financial institution because we pay 1 in 5 Americans. We're able to make sure that we are always up to date on any new compliance changes or labor laws. I don't know if anyone heard about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that was just released a couple of weeks ago. We're always going to make sure that we are up to date and accurate with all of your payroll to make sure that your employees are getting paid on time, accurately, and effectively. And I'll show you some of the unique features associated with our payroll, checks and balances to make sure that it's accurate, employee self-service, and of course, everything is available in multiple languages or bilingual for Spanish as well. Now, I won't spend too much time here. I know that a lot of these are just kind of highlights, and I wanted to just give you an overview of the additional services that are available within our platform. Of course, payroll and time and attendance and the ERP integration is top of mind and can already streamline so much of your organization's back-end operations. But there are so many other little nuances that an administrative team has to take care of in every single day. And benefits enrollment is one of those main things that the team is spending so much time and effort into evaluating for their employees. So it's important for your employees to be able to recognize those. And that's exactly how our software helps, by just kind of surfacing all of the investment that you as an administrative team is providing to your customers and your employees, especially within the benefits. And that can really be a retention tool as well, being able to reduce the administrative burden while simultaneously enhancing the overall employee satisfaction and experience. So we'll show you an overview of some of the benefits capabilities as well, but this is definitely something that can be handled within the system to really allow you to have a one single a stop shop and an easy to use, user friendly tool to manage everything from hire to retire. The next one I wanted to highlight is talent growth and retention. Strategic talent acquisition is really become more critical in an organization's success, whether you have 50 employees or 500 employees. Recently, it's been no secret that the job market has really spiked over the last couple of years in post-COVID, and recruiting efforts have doubled. It's important to be able to find skilled and aligned individuals that align to your organization's success. And ADP has a tool, again, embedded and seamlessly connected in our payroll and HR system to be able to streamline all of your efforts here. So before they're even an actual employee, you can still offer them that single point of contact experience from a candidate perspective, while also leaning into mass job posting across all of the different sites that you might have so that you aren't constantly duplicating efforts and reinventing the wheel. There's all sorts of tips and tricks built throughout our system to make sure that you're leaning into automation and not having to duplicate efforts. The last one that I wanted to highlight is our learning management system. And recently, we've been getting a lot of feedback from our customers that they need a solution in place to manage their employees' training while also upskilling them. And whether that's safety trainings or specific machinery, forklift certifications, or even just general workplace safety, sexual harassment training, anything even for the other industries that may not be out in the field. We have a variety of custom packages to be able to develop a training course that is cost effective for your employees, but also easy to use on your end. You do have the ability to create custom content as well as have assessments built into the different trainings and certifications to meet all of your regulations or credit needs. Which brings me to our next poll question here. What functions are included in ADP's Workforce Now software? And this will give us a good idea on how well you've been paying attention over here. So this is, again, there really isn't a right or wrong answer. Just want to get a pulse on where you guys are at. All right. Thank you all so much. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hop into a demo of Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP. I'm so excited to show you what this all looks like here. So just give me 1 second here while I switch things around. And Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP. This is, a system, again, that was built from the ground up and is really able to manage all of your operations from hire to retire. Now, this is a cloud-based open API infrastructure. So as you can see here, me logging in, you have the ability to access this on a computer, at work, at home. And I'm also going to walk you through what the mobile app looks like as well throughout this demonstration today so that you can see what the different views look like and the look and feel across the board. Now, from an administrator's perspective, here we are on the employee homepage landing page within the platform. And I'll just give you a couple of highlights here to give you an overview of what you're looking at. Again, our system is built from the ground up and seamlessly connected, so you never have to navigate to a different system to manage your operations throughout the entire employee lifecycle. Now, the provisions and the user permissions within the platform is based off of your credentials. And one of ADP's key differentiators is that you have the ability to have an unlimited amount of custom provisions here within the platform. So for our demonstration today, I'm logged in as a practitioner, so I have this entire bar available to me at the top. But if I was just an employee, I would only have these first 3 tabs. If I was a manager, I would have this additional My Team tab to help manage my direct reports and also some reporting capability. But of course, if you did have any hybrid individuals or, a manager who needed access to certain things, you do have the ability to completely customize all of those different provisions. And so, let's say I was an employee logging in and I wanted to go ahead and clock in. You can do that directly here from the home page. Or maybe there's something else that really highlights things that require my attention, things to do, open enrollment, maybe some insights into my organization. We can really customize this entire landing page to engage with your workforce and even have news and announcement updates to make sure that everything is getting announced to your employees. Now, maybe also before you even have an employee, you're having your recruiting efforts. And so I'll show you what it looks like even from a candidate perspective and how our recruiting can really help you streamline your recruiting efforts while also really maximizing your growth and retention here. Within ADP's talent and recruiting module, you have the ability to manage all of your requisitions, as well as having an applicant tracking system as well. Now, as you'll see, you do get 3 free ZipRecruiter slots included in this entire module. And you can actually create your requisitions however you would like. There's a variety of different posting details and knockout questions that you can create, different workflows to be able to have interviews streamlined throughout the organization. But one of the key highlights here is the ability for ADP to give you salary benchmarking information. And I always hear from my other customers that they're paying for another type of software or surveys to be able to get this benchmark detail, or sometimes even working with an outside group to try to get an idea for how they can recruit quality candidates. And ADP takes all of that work and effort out of the equation because we pay so many Americans and we actually supply the White House with this benchmarking data. We're able to collect all of the different pay rates informations from the customers that we're working with across the US, anonymize it and refix it and load it back into the system to present you with an average salary range based on the title of your job requisition as well as the industry and location. Pretty cool stuff. So that's one of the features within the recruiting module. And again, I'm just trying to give you a high-level overview of things that are available. But let's go ahead and look at what it looks like when you are filtering in the applications. Now, AI has obviously been a very big game changer in the HR space. And we have a variety of different features built into the system to be able to really lean into the AI here. One of these, for example, is the profile relevancy score here. Whenever you have a new application here in the system, it will actually generate a custom grade based off of where they're at within the system and how well they really match up to that requisition. Another area that AI is really built into the system is with those job descriptions on the previous page. You can really lean into that as well to help generate those day-to-day and overviews, descriptions of the jobs. Now, within the applicant tracking system, you have all of these details with your candidate here, and all of these different details about their resume, communications back and forth. You can actually text them, screenings or questions that they may have answered. And it's our goal to really work with you throughout the implementation process to make sure that we're managing this in a way that is effective for you. So not having to reinvent the wheel, type up offer letters, you can have this all connected to your managers and the rest of your team to make sure that you're really getting the most ROI from your investment and not having to waste time duplicating efforts. One of the best things within the recruiting is that we do have the opportunity to actually administer background checks as well, or any type of drug screenings that you might need included in the pre-hiring experience. And so you can simply move them through this entire process. And then maybe let's say that you're ready to actually hire this employee. You can simply actually connect this to the HR and onboarding system and begin that HR onboarding workflow without having to even go to a different system. Since ADP is all seamlessly connected, there's no duplicating efforts or moving employees from one system to another. All of that can be seamlessly connected, and you can just start the hiring process right from there. Now, you have a variety of different options here when you are going to actually hire an employee. You can always type this in manually, but one of the key features is being able to enable your employees and give the power over to them and really kind of set the expectation that they need to own their data and information. You can actually just assign this onboarding experience to the individual and have them complete that on your behalf. They can take pictures of their passport and their driver's license. They can fill out fillable forms. We partner with Adobe for any other information that they might need to collect. And as you can see here, since I pulled this one over from our recruiting platform, it automatically started building this out for me, and I didn't have to enter in anything else. It is automatically pulling that information from the resume. Now, this is so important just for any organization, but it's also really important when it comes to hiring and getting that information over into Sage Intacct. So regardless on how you collect this information, I'm just going to show you an example here of what it would look like for the integration. All of this information is going to flow over, and as soon as that individual is hired within ADP, that's going to initiate the API connection to have all of the information flow into Intacct. Again, of course, you have data privacy security restrictions here if there is any sensitive information that you would like to withhold. However, oftentimes, especially with construction companies or manufacturing companies, they need to have projected cost in hours as if they're working over an SOW or for the union requirements. So you can have all of this employee information pull over, have that matching ID number, the department, if you'd like other types of earning rates in there so that you can project and manipulate the data on the ERP side. That's 100% feasible, and all of that can be managed here in the platform with all of the additional information. Now, of course, that connection is great, and data in general is great, but unless you can really view it and report on it in real time, it isn't as useful to all of the individuals. So I'll go ahead and show you what ADP's virtual filing cabinet looks like. And this is where we store all of the information for your employees, whether that's demographic information, employment information, all of that can be housed here in the platform. And you even have the ability to set up custom fields. So there's truly nothing that we can't track throughout the ADP platform. You do have the opportunity to enable employees to add their own picture if they would like. And again, throughout the self-service of the platform, they can always go in and actually update some of their information here as well if you would like to allow that for them. Things like updating their bank account or looking at their pay stub. All of that can be handled right here in the ADP mobile app as well, if you allow it. And of course, we can set up a custom workflow for any of those changes to be accurate and approved before posting live in the platform. Here's an example of some other information that we can track. Of course, the pay and the demographic information is great, but it's also really important to have an overview from the administrative side of the employee pay rates and different types of earning codes that they might have. Taxes, are they what pay group are they in for clocking purposes? And so you can see all of these different details here in the platform. And we have this little show as of date. ADP does enable and allow you to have all real-time changes and effective dated pay changes, even if it's mid-payroll cycle. And you can also set it and forget it. So if you have a new pay change coming up, whether that's 6 months within an employee's life or maybe on an annual calendar year, you can simply navigate to that future date and select it and see all of the information update in real time, just to ensure that those deductions are set up accurately and correctly. The other key feature here to highlight is some information with the talent profile. Any trainings or OSHA events that might have happened can be listed here, and we will automatically generate those OSHA reports, as well as all other license and certifications. I worked with a customer the other day who said that they were tracking all of this in a third-party system and just in Excel, and it was so much time and manual effort to be able to reach out to those individuals and remind them of it. Here, anything that has the bell in the system can actually just go ahead and be notified about that expiring certificate, whether it's the employee, the manager, or the practitioner, and you can completely customize how this is all set up. Of course, all of this information is great, but compliance is also so important. And this is where you can also manage all of the different things associated with the I-9, EEO, any type of FMLA, and again, OSHA, all being tracked here in the system. Now, this information is great to be living in the virtual filing cabinet, but ADP got so much feedback back in the day that our reports we needed better custom reporting. You do have access to over 150 standard reports within the system, but if I just toggle on this field grabber section in the top right of the platform, this allows you to actually go through and select the information that you want to report on in real time. And you can actually navigate to other pages within the platform and create that custom report to include any of those pieces of information that you might want included in the report. As you can see, any type of similar reports that we might already have pre-generated and pre-baked will actually start to pop up, or I can just continue on to selecting my unique data fields that I want included, and then filter that based on any type of department, date range, or any other filters that I might want included. Pretty cool feature there as well. So this was kind of an overview of the HR and recruiting capabilities. I wanted to highlight some of our time and attendance features as well. This is something that is so imperative across the organization, and we often get feedback that it's not even just enabling the employees to leverage the technology, it's also important to enable the managers and to have one single streamlined template for your managers to be able to manage their own employees. And ADP created this team dashboard, which is pretty much a dream dashboard showing your managers anything and everything that might require their attention. Things like who's working today can be very helpful if you have a remote workforce or multiple different field workers in different states. People that have total hours and maybe are even approaching overtime. Since our system is seamlessly connected from the HR, payroll, time, the entire thing, we're able to give you this real-time data and visibility into all of your different time features. It's also going to have approval status for time cards. We are compliant with DCCA requirements here as well, with the multi-level of approvers if you ever need to have that type of compliance in place, as well as any additional team insights, just highlighting trends in case you wanted to take action across those. This is also where you can manage any missed punches. Maybe you have shifts to review, and this is where you can go in and actually edit those times, or maybe even see comments that your employees might have left for you to make sure that you're taking action against these in real time. To give you an example of what a time card might look like, just to give you an overview, this can be definitely customized, based off of the different things that you're tracking and your different needs. But we do have the ability to create any number of custom columns and rows, things like job number, project, work order, and all of these different hierarchy structured descriptions to make sure that we're tracking your employees' time accurately and efficiently. And, keep in mind this can be customized. You don't always have to have the clock in, clock out. Maybe your employees are just entering hours. Maybe they need to leave a comment, which they can absolutely do so as well. Maybe you allow them to enter in per diem or additional supplemental pay codes from the manager or even the employee's behalf. All of that can be pre-built and preloaded into the system, so it's very easy to just have this in place already to manage all of your time and attendance. Of course, you do have the opportunity to approve this time card from the employee level or the manager level, and this will all be seamlessly connected to the payroll platform and the payroll piece of the entire structure here. You also do have the ability to send this over to Intacct if you would like to be able to manipulate that data and accrue it on the ERP side as well. But to give you an idea of the payroll checks and balances here, you have the ability to bring everything into the payroll grid because you're already using the time and attendance within ADP. Or if you're not, you still have the ability to import those worksheets and all of those different files. It's going to highlight things that maybe require your attention, maybe additional payments for a retro or termed employee, or maybe even some time cards that aren't approved yet. The system is able to notify these employees in real time so that you're not having to chase down managers and chase down employees and remind them of this, of what they're trying to complete. All of this can happen in real time. And then you're going to be able to even have that preview stage. And this is where ADP has all sorts of checks and balances in place to make sure that your payroll is accurate and compliant. It's going to give you a gross to net overview of your payroll, giving you all these little details about hours and pay rates. And you can even toggle on this compare feature to be able to compare week to week what those differences are in your gross to net pay and really surface any discrepancies or errors within the payroll as well. All of these reports, like your cash requirements, your register, are available before payroll is ever processed, just to ensure that everything is 100% accurate and easy to use within the platform. Now, if everything looks good, you could go ahead and approve that payroll, or if there were any changes, it's very easy to just simply hop back and actually manage that payroll. Now, of course, the payroll is great, and we do have the ability to connect that with your GL for all of your job costing. So I wanted to just highlight what that general ledger interface looks like to give you an idea of how seamless and how easy this is and how much time that we are saving other organizations. Once your payroll is processed, you do have access to those 150 standard reports, of course, for you to create or run as soon as you would like. And one of those is the GLI, the General Ledger Interface. As soon as your payroll is processed, you can navigate to the GL Interface dashboard and go ahead and create that GL file. It gives you options to include different payrolls. Maybe you have multiple different frequencies or EINs that you're managing or different date ranges. And we'll really work with you to set this up during implementation to map each line item to your chart of accounts so that it is accurate. And as soon as you see that complete, that you can go ahead and transmit via API the GL over into Intacct, and that's going to seamlessly flow into the journal entry section. You can drill down into that in further detail to view all of those individual transactions from your payroll and be able to see all of those unique cost structures with the historical gross to net details within the entire payroll. Pretty nice, and we always get great feedback that it is so user-friendly and so nice to be able to have this seamlessly pre-baked. Well, I hope that this was a good overview for you, and we really do value your partnership in being able to have all of this seamlessly connected. The last thing I wanted to show is this Sage Intacct Integrations dashboard, which of course, again, can be customized, and we would love to set up an additional time with you to really dig in deeper and take a deep dive into your specific operations and really determine which of these workflows, maybe all of them or none of them, that would be really impactful for you and your employees to take advantage of. But I'm going to wrap up and switch over to our deck here to finish up with just a recap as well as, some additional perks that are available through our exclusive partnership. All right. So hopefully you guys can see this okay over here on this one. Now, of course, just to kind of a recap here, again, with Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP, it is so much more than just payroll. It really is the full hire to retire life cycle throughout your administrative workday and managing your workforce. I know we kind of did that high level overview, starting with recruiting, going through HR, time capturing, payroll, and reporting. But keep in mind that we have those additional modules like benefits administration, performance reviews, safety trainings, analytics. All of these are available to you through Sage Intacct Payroll and can actually be purchased directly through your subscription and includes those extra discounts. So it's much more cost effective. And you also get to eliminate that third party overhead billing by having everything all together. With the exclusive partnership that we do have with Ledgerable, you would be enrolled into something that we call the Partner Advantage program. And this consists of a variety of different tools and trainings to really make you get the best experience with ADP and the most out of your ERP investment. Within this program, we take training really two steps further and not only train the practitioners and the C suite, but also the employees and the managers to make sure that they have a good understanding of the platform. You also get things like free carrier connections, 7 years of free history, an exclusive ERP and implementation and integration with Sage Intacct. And all of this is supported by our exclusive team within the ERP channel. People like myself that had to have started in a different division of ADP first and then moved over into this more experienced tenured channel to make sure that you're getting the best of the best resources, the best price, and that true white glove customer service. So we're really excited to be able to bring that to you, which brings us to our last poll question here. What would it mean for your team to reduce this type of manual administrative work and really just lean into the streamlined payroll processes? Hopefully, everyone thinks that this would definitely be a significant time savings, but I'm interested to see how all of the answers come in. So, thank you so much for participating in these. We really do appreciate it. And I know that we're almost done here. So, just in recap, I can't thank you enough for all of your time and effort in today's conversation. I really enjoyed getting to connect with all of you. And again, we would love to have the opportunity to reconnect after and set up a more targeted conversation about your specific organization. But I'm always here. I'm always available with the Ledgerable team to help support and really marry your two systems to make sure that you guys are really getting the best investment possible and the best ROI from connecting your ERP and HRIS platforms. So thank you again for your time today. I can't wait to hear from you all after, and I will go ahead and pass it back over to Brian.
Thank you, Cassie. You are a very effective presenter, and thank you for not only getting this information delivered to us very well, but also keeping to our time schedule. But let me ask you quickly, are you available for a couple of quick questions? Because we've had several submitted here.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. And is there still time? If there's a question that is needs to be answered, use that Q&A button. I'm going to do a little bit of quick advertising here, and then we'll roll into these 4 or 5 questions that have been presented, but there's still time to submit another one. All of the presentations that we provide are delivered to the construction industry, and I am available to speak to construction back office professionals, CPA firms, Texas CPA Society, local chapters, CFMA chapter, local chapters, and other professional groups on the following topics, all of which speak directly to construction industry professionals. The first one is accelerating the financial close, automation today, AI tomorrow, changing technology, creative disruption, and the accounting profession, thriving in a blockchain economy. which is particularly applicable based upon the publicity we've heard recently about stable coins. And then this last presentation entitled Prosperity Through Recurring Revenue, Unleashing the Power of the Subscription Economy, applies to those specialty industry subcontractors providing service maintenance agreements to businesses or consumers after project completion. In addition, if you can plan to attend more informative upcoming webinars that we've got scheduled, including the one in August from our friends at Use entitled Unlock Growth Potential by Transforming Your AP Processes with Automation. On the next slide, you'll see a QR code there in the upper left-hand corner that you can use to be pre-registered for that. Look forward also to the webinar we've scheduled in September on construction key performance indicators. And then finally, you can meet the Legible team at several different upcoming construction industry events that we've scheduled out on the next slide, including a presentation to our participation in the CFMA Lone Star Conference in San Antonio in October. A week later, we're in Chicago at the Build Expo. And then I'll be at several upcoming TX CPA Society local chapter meetings presenting Accelerating the Financial Close, Automation Today, AI Tomorrow. Those are in Corpus Christi and Beaumont. Okay, Cassie, we've got quite a few questions here, and I cannot wait to get your answer to these. Let's take a look at the first one. It's a two-parter. The
Okay.
first part is do you work with Canadian clients? And the second part is the data housed within a server in Canada?
Thank you so much, Brian. These are excellent questions. And the answer is yes, we absolutely do support all customers in Canada. And in fact, we have quite a few global data centers and products that we can configure to support companies that have employees everywhere. All of our data is managed in the cloud, so it's not necessarily on servers in Canada. We do have a cloud hosted platform.
Excellent. All righty. Second question. I guess this is also, or maybe this one's really just a one-parter. It says, seems like you are competing with ADP workforce for construction. What's the difference?
There is no difference. It is all the same. It's kind of a lengthy term here in the name that I don't know who came up with this, but the actual name of the product would be Sage Intacct Payroll powered by ADP Workforce Now for construction, or not, just without that part at the end. So I know that some of the information might have Sage Payroll labeled on it. Some of it says Workforce Now. Some says Workforce Now for construction. It is essentially the same backend product with all the backend logic. It's just the way that it's purchased and set up and available to our customers.
Very well. Here's another one. Can you produce a certified payroll report before finalizing the payroll? Then there's a comment after this that says this would help in the compliance software to prevent restitution.
So the certified payroll reports are being produced simultaneously as you are processing payroll. So just like I showed some of those example reports that you have access to before payrolls run, you do have the ability to look at those and review it to confirm accuracy before it's actually filed. Some checks and balances in place to make sure that it is fully accurate.
Okay, good. Uh, Here's a final question, and let me just mention that there's still a couple of minutes for a last minute question, and you can put that in while we address this last one. Can we use this last question, Cassie? Can we use ADP to post job openings on Indeed or other job boards?
Yes, absolutely. Through our job target integration, you have the ability to connect with any other software or job type of platform that you're already using. Now, you do get those 3 free ZipRecruiter slots. Sometimes groups will offset another recruiting platform that they're using and maybe haven't seen success with. But if you are paying for LinkedIn, paying for Indeed, the requisition will post to all of those simultaneously. And they will also filter in all of the candidates back into ADP's applicant tracking system. So you have visibility into your sourcing efficiency, as well as the entire candidate pool to manage and move throughout the interview process.
All right. I guess that is a wrap. I want to say thank you, Cassie, for I know there's a lot of work to this, and you've been great to work with, not only in the presentation of this material today, but also in the many different construction contracting firms with whom we worked with you and ADP. So thank you for that. Thank you for our partnership. Thank you to Shirley and Sophia for managing all of the presentation in the background. And we want you to look forward to our next presentation on August, or our next webinar in August on the 20th from 12 to 1. Once again, qualifies for an hour of CPE. It's entitled Unlock Growth Potential by Transforming Your AP Processes with Automation, on the very hot topic of accounts payable automation and artificial intelligence. Until then, have a great day.